Good day, everyone. This is FM Shreyas Smith from Pro Chess Evolution, and today we're going to be taking another look at a game from the Chess Genesis tournament, the Under 1300 section. This is a game played between Chaarvik, Madhu, Vikram, and James Gillette. Let's get into the game. E4, E5, knight F3. Normal moves, knight c6, developing, knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4. Black here responds with bishop c5. Here, an interesting alternative for black is knight takes e4. And now, at first sight, it might look like you're sacrificing or giving up your knight, but it's only temporary. So after knight takes e4, black has the opportunity to play pawn to d5 and forking the two pieces to regain the material. So bishop d3 takes. I'll get a position like this where black has his pawn in the center and he's ready to develop either one of his pieces. Alright, so let's go back. So bishop c5, knight g5. Now white goes after a threat of knight takes f7, where he can now fork both the queen and the rook. Of course, black defends that the most effective way by castling and defending the f7 square. Castles by white. And now h6, black trying to get the white knight out of his territory. And white chooses knight to f3 to go back. Now, some might consider why not playing knight takes f7. But here, after knight takes f7, rook takes f7, bishop takes f7, king takes f7. Now, even though this is an equal material trade, it's usually a bad idea to exchange two of your pieces for one of your opponent's pieces, whether it be a rook or another piece. So knight f3 was played. White had to go back, and as a result of this, white lost some time. So here d6, d3, and here bishop to g4, and black initiates an annoying pin on the d1 queen, which will prove to be very fatal in just a few moves. h3 by white in order to try to get rid of the pin that is on the f3 knight. Bishop to h5, bishop to e3, finishing its development. Bishop b6, rook e1, and now black plays bishop into d4, trying to tempt white into capturing the bishop. Now white did indeed take the bishop, and now after knight takes d4, we see that there is pressure put on the weak knight on f3 combined with the pin. Now here, white played knight to d5, which allowed some catastrophe to happen to his king side. Now instead of this, white needed to find a way to deal with this annoying pin that was on his knight. And the way for him to do this would have been to play pawn to g4, breaking the communication between the bishop on h5 to the knight on f3. Now here, an interesting try for black would have been knight takes g4, and if white plays pawn takes, then bishop takes, and this pin becomes his real downfall in this position, as there's no more protection for the knight on f3. However, after knight takes g4, white has a nice in-between move, which is knight takes d4, which captures a piece and exposes the queen to attack another piece that is in danger. So a sample line is pawn takes c3, white recaptures the material, but now h takes g4, d takes c3, and pawn takes h5, and white ends up ahead in material with the extra bishop. Alright, so go back. However, knight d5 was played in the game, and this allowed disaster to strike. So black played knight takes f3, and after pawn takes f3, knight takes f3 takes, we realize here that black has now created a great hole into white's defense with multiple weaknesses on f3, h3, h2, g2, f2, which leaves his king exposed to a lot of attack from the enemy pieces. So here, queen f6, black starts with queen f6, very accurate, putting pressure on one of the weaknesses from the get-go, which is a pawn on f3. Rook to e3, white protects the weakness. King h8. Black tries to prepare himself ready to open the f file. And now queen d2. And black found a very excellent way to exploit the queen leaving the defense of the f3 pawn. Queen g5. King h1. Queen h4, very accurate move, attacking the h3 pawn first. King h2. And now queen f4. King g2, protecting the pawn on f3 again. And now black has a very nice tactic in this position. If you want time to find it, please pause the video and take some time to look. Okay, the move that black found here was bishop takes f3 check. When the right rook on e3 can't capture the bishop on f3 because of the deadly pin to the queen on d2. And here white played king to g1, and now black found mate in 3 moves here. If you want a chance to find it, pause the video and try to see if you can see the mate in 3. Alright, so queen to g5 check, king f1, queen g2, king e1, and finally queen g1 checkmate. Now, one of the main things from this game that this highlights is that if you get the opportunity to open holes in your opponent's defenses, you should go for it. And also, if you are in a position where your opponent can open holes into your position, you should do what's best you can to not allow that to happen. Thank you guys for looking at this video. I'll see you guys again in the next clip.